William Shakespeare was the greatest playwright, actor and poet of the world. He was born in April on the 26th, 1564, baptized in Stratford-upon-Avon, England, likely born on April the 23rd. He died on April the 23rd in 1616 in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. He was best known for writing plays such as Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and Macbeth. As to his early life, very little is known about William Shakespeare's childhood. He was born in the English city of Stratford-upon-Avon, about 100 miles northwest of London, in 1564. William's father was a successful leather merchant who once held the public position of alderman. He was the third of 6 children, including 2 older sisters and 3 younger brothers. Growing up in Stratford-upon-Avon, William lived in a house with his big family on Henley Street. He went to the local grammar school where he learned about poetry, history, Greek and Latin. When William turned 18, he married Anne Hathaway and was 8 years older than William. They soon had a family including a daughter named Suzanne and twins named Hamlet and Juliet. London and the Lost Years. After William and Anne had the twins, there are no records of the next several years of his life. Historians often refer to these years as the lost years. There are lots of theories and stories about what William was doing during this time. In any event, he and his family eventually ended up in London, where William was working at the theatre. Lord Chamberlain's Men. William was part of an acting company called Lord Chamberlain's Men. An acting company in England at this time worked together to put on plays. There were typically around 10 actors in company, including a lead actor, character actors, and some comedians. Young boys typically played women's roles, as women were not allowed to act. Early plays. Shakespeare wrote plays for the Lord Chamberlain's Men. He worked as an actor as well. His plays became very popular in London, and soon the Lord Chamberlain's Men were one of the most popular acting companies in the city. Some of Shakespeare's early plays include The Taming of the Shrew, Richard III, Romeo and Juliet, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. The theatre shuts down. These early plays were put out at a theatre called The Theatre. While Lord Chamberlain's Men owned the theatre, the land was owned by Julian Allen. In 1597, Allen decided he wanted to tear the theatre down. He locked it up and refused to let the actors perform. They tried to renegotiate the lease on the land, but Allen again refused. One night, several members of the company dismantled the theatre and moved the timber across the Thames River to another spot. There they built a new theatre called the Globe Theatre. The Globe Theatre. The Globe Theatre became the place to be in London. It could house up to 3,000 spectators and had a uniquely designed stage with a painted ceiling, columns and a stage wall. They had specially trained musicians who made special effects noises during the plays. They even had a cannon that fired blanks. Later plays. Many of Shakespeare's greatest plays were written in the last half of his career. These included Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth. His success in the theatre, as well as his investments in the land and the globe, made Shakespeare a wealthy man. He purchased a large home in Stratford for his family called New Place. Poetry. Shakespeare also became famous for his poetry. His most famous poem of the time was Venus and Adonis. He also wrote poems called sonnets. A book of 154 of Shakespeare's sonnets was published in 1609. Death. William retired to his home in Stratford and died on his 52nd birthday. Legacy. Shakespeare is considered by many to be the greatest writer of the English language. He is also one of the most influential. Through his works, he is credited with introducing nearly 3,000 words to the English language. In addition, his works are the second most often quoted after the Bible. Interesting facts about William Shakespeare. The lead actor and star of many Shakespeare plays was Richard Burbage. The original Globe Theatre burned down in 1613. It was rebuilt in 1614, but was then closed in 1642. A modern reconstruction of the Globe was built in London by American actor Sam Wanamaker. It opened in 1997. He wrote 37 plays in his lifetime, averaging about 1.5 plays per year he was writing. Some scholars think that he wrote around 20 more plays that have been lost, which would put the total to 57. These plays were performed for both Queen Elizabeth I and King James I. You can take the letters from William Shakespeare and write, I am Richard Sparrow.